It's good to have you there. This is the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN Television. You're on. You're welcome to the news on the hour. I am Fulusho Taiwo. You're welcome. The British Prime Minister, Theresa May, will visit Nigeria and two other African countries this week. May will be visiting Nigeria on Wednesday, where she will meet with President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja to discuss the promotion of British trade and interest. The Prime Minister said her visit is a unique opportunity at a unique time for the UK, stating that Africa's incredible potential will only be realized through a concerted partnership between governments, global institutions, and business. She said this relationship would deepen and strengthen the global partnerships with Commonwealth countries as the United Kingdom is prepared to leave the European Union, EU, in 2019. May intends to discuss security issues, especially the threat of Boko Haram in Nigeria, and also meet with victims of modern slavery in Lagos. The other African countries the Prime Minister will be visiting are South Africa and Kenya. She intends to make her first stop at Cape Town, South Africa, before flying to Nigeria and then Nairobi in Kenya. President Muhammadu Buhari has said that the rule of law must be subject to supremacy of the nation's security and national interest. The president made this assertion at the 2018 Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, in Abuja, where he urged lawyers to work for national cohesion and unity as the 2019 elections approach.
Rule of law must be subject to the supremacy of the nation's security and the national interest. Our apex court has had cause to adopt a position on this issue in this regard, and it is now a matter of judicial recognition that where national security and public interests are threatened, or there is a likelihood of their being threatened, the individual rights of those allegedly responsible must take second place in favor of the greater good of society. I believe that lawyers can contribute to another core objective of enhancing our business environment and promoting social justice by promoting respect for the rule of law, contributing to the law reform process, and putting national interest and professional ethics above self in the conduct of their business.
President Buhari urged the lawyers to uphold the sanctity and integrity of the judicial and electoral institutions, charging them to carry out proper analysis in cases that have to do with nation building, adding that the law can only be optimally practiced in a safe and secure nation. He further assured the judiciary of the resolve of his administration to promote measures that will achieve a vibrant economy, under which the practice of law will thrive through fiscal discipline and good housekeeping.
I also urge you to work to uphold and improve the sanctity and integrity of our judicial and electoral institutions, which play a fundamental role in the sustenance and growth of our democracy. However, let me remind you all, my dear compatriots, that the law can only be optimally practiced in a Nigeria that is safe, secure, and prosperous. Let me assure you of the resolve of this administration to promote measures that will achieve a vibrant economy under which the practice of law will thrive.
The wife of the primate of all Nigeria and the Bishop of Abuja Diocese Anglican Communion, Mrs. Nkasi Obioko, has asked youths in Abuja and in the entire Nigeria to be patient and prudent with their talents and skills in order to be able to make living out of them. Mrs. Oko made this comment at the final day of the Abuja Diocesan Youth Summit held at St. Jude's Anglican Church, Zone 3, Abuja. The summit, which is organized by the Mothers Union and Women's Guild of Diocese of Abuja, and youths gather for 1 week where they were taught different skills, speaking through our representative, Mrs. Christy Johnson. She asked the youths not to stop investing on themselves in order to ensure developmental growth.
The advice I have for them is to be patient and to be prudent. Save as much as you can and then continue to invest in yourself so that they can grow big from what they have learned.
Also speaking is the Abuja Diocesan Youth Chaplain, Reverend Canon Ovie Ezimeruwe, who said this kind of program help youths tap into their talents, thereby translating them into tangible money.
It's an empowerment program whereby youths are encouraged to tap into their potentials and translate what they have in them to creating a source of sustenance for their lives. How they can translate their gifts, their talents, their skills, their knowledge into tangible forms of money. Nigeria now, we have so many unemployed people. Some are underemployed. Some don't even know what to do with their gifts. Some don't even know that their skill is money. We are trying to create that awareness to make them understand that their gifts can be packaged into money. What they see around them is money crying for expression that they can tap into and utilize and pull themselves out of the dungeon of poverty, lack, unemployment, and underemployment.
The Abuja Diocesan AYF President, Mr. Ihianye Emma Opara, and others appreciated Mrs. Nkasi Obioko, Mothers Union and Women's Guild for this giant stride in the Diocese of Abuja. They advised the participants to carry on from where their tutors have stopped.
We are ever grateful to the president of Mothers Union and Women's Guild in the Diocese of Abuja, that's Mrs. Nkasi Obioko, who has initiated this program and has continued to sponsor it over these years. It shows that she has the heart to ensure that the youths come out from unemployment and become entrepreneurs who will be useful to the church and also to the society at large. So we want to advise those who emerged as the winners of the competition in different skills to really showcase innovation and also be passionate, because one thing is giving people opportunity, another is for them to really utilize such opportunities.
Don't stop where you started, continue. The little you know, build on it. You don't know where things will work for you. During the program, we had two participants from the catering class who got contracts already during the course of the program. So even after the program, don't stop. The little you know, put it into use, because it would actually develop.
It's a very nice one. So many things are happening in the country right now and there are no jobs, so it's good. You train people to be able to handle things themselves.
They also revealed that the church has plans to mentor some of the participants who are exceptional in their performance during the one-week training.
That we're going to work with this year from each class. So we give them further training to further perfect what they have learned. After the training, we now Work hand in hand with them to start production. So once they start production now, for the next 2-3 months again of working together with us, they become ready for the bigger market.
She has a little package for some of them that are very interested in what they are learning. They're going to give them some take-off grants to start what they've learned, to make sure that they really get immersed in it and ensure they sustain themselves with what they've learned.
At least 1 or 2 people from each class who will continue in 2 months intensive training in that skill. Also getting materials and equipment they need to help them move further in that particular skill.
An interview with some of the participants showed that they already have plans for their new skills as they outlined how they want to start up careers from them.
It's actually start from my family, help organize birthday parties, ceremonies and all that, you know, try and build up myself. Then from there, the world is my footstool.
I'm already putting it into practice because the first day I stepped my foot on a sewing machine, I made a skirt. It's over there.
You can start without money. For instance, planning your mother's birthday or a surprise party for your mother, or planning a surprise party for your friend or anyone. And that is the good thing about it. This event planning, you can just be at home, you can be a vendor yourself. You can supply things for people's wedding, supply other things. You can also do decoration.
I'll start from my surroundings, starting from my neighbors, down to my street people or even my family members. I can use them to sample the business using Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook and other social media to spread the makeup.
Some of the skills acquired by the participants include shoemaking, souvenir, dressmaking, catering, laundry, event planning, and so on. Mr. Mustafa Lekki, the South Commissioner, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says the commission will redesign the structures of all polling units to curb vote buying during the 2019 general elections. Lekki disclosed this in an interview at Auchi in Exako West local government area of Edo State. The INEC commissioner urged the media to expose political parties and candidates found engaging in vote buying during the election to enable INEC prosecute the culprits. On the establishment of more polling units, Lekki said the INEC will create additional polling units after the elections, as doing so now will be misinterpreted by politicians. He said, however, that the commission will decongest polling units and create voting points close to the original polling unit. The INEC National Commissioner appealed to the National Assembly to pass the commission's budget to enable it access funds for the conduct of the general election. As controversies continue to rage over the proposed launch of Operation Python Dance 3 in the southeast by the Nigerian Army, the leadership of Ohaneze Ndigbo Youth Council, OYC Worldwide, has called for caution to avoid another bloodletting in the region. The group, in a statement by its Deputy President General, Comrade Obina Achonye, appealed to Ndigbo not to allow the intimidation and experience of last year's Python dance to provoke them into unnecessary crisis that might jeopardize the peace and harmony existing in the region. It also used the statement to condemn the reported discovery of corpses in Ukwa and Umahia suspected to be that of Biafra agitators who engaged in protest during the show of force by the military during last year's Operation Python Dance 2. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC has deployed over 150 additional operatives to protect internally displaced persons IDPs camps in 8 local government areas in Borno retaken from insurgents. It will be recalled that the NCDC had previously deployed 1,200 operatives to restore peace after the liberation of communities from Boko Haram in 2015. The jihadist group has killed more than 20,000 people and displaced millions since 2009, when it launched its deadly campaign in a bid to enforce a strict Islamic code in northern Nigeria. The commandant of the NCDC in Borno, Mr. Abdullahi Ibrahim, who confirmed the deployment of the operatives in an interview with newsmen in Maiduguri, said the operatives will complement other security agencies in the troubled state. The operatives were selected from Special Armed Squad, Counter-Terrorism Squad, Anti-Riot Squad, Bomb Detection, Agro Ranger Squad, Disposal Unit, Intelligence and Detection Unit, as well as rescue and medical teams. Ibrahim said the Agro Rangers will be deployed to farms to protect IDPs on their farms. The Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has no power to probe the state government. In a statement by a Special Assistant on Electronic Media, Simeon Nwakaudu, the governor said that the EFCC should approach the Court of Appeal to set aside the 2007 judgment banning the commission from investigating the state. Wike also alleged that the anti-graft agency was embarking on a political witch hunt using the media. The governor explained that the state had obtained a court judgment in 2007 preventing the anti-graft agency from probing it. He, however, wants the commission to vacate the order and a superior court before probing the activities of the state. The governor also decried the freezing of accounts of Benue and Akwa Ibom states government earlier by the EFCC. On August 8, the anti-graft agency froze the accounts of 2 states' development that sparked criticism, especially by the Nigerian Governors Forum, NGF. Furthermore, he accused the federal government of using the agency for illegal actions in the state, despite the Attorney General writing to the EFCC and attaching the 2007 judgment against the federal agency. We shall now go on a short commercial break. We shall be back. Please stay with us.
When I came to my mom, because my growing years, I was an exceptionally active child. I didn't know how to do things right. And that irritated my mother. And if you are a pastor's daughter like my mother was, she was so sure I was going to hell. When I became born again and came back home, she was shocked. Because this is a child she's always known for 17 years. Now I'm coming home at 19, a totally different person. So she didn't even know how to handle a changed person because she was always ready for my fight. There was none now. So when I did come back, she went into her room and brought out my inheritance, which my grandfather had left for me. And I still have them till date. It was his Ngas prayer book, Anglican prayer book, which was translated in 1921. And also, my grandmother on her side also said, whenever I was getting married, she had a set of china dishes for whoever was going to get married. I came to TCNN to see her, but I went to TCNN also. I came to the hospital to see her, but I went to TCNN to see Gloria, with whom I've been trying to beg if she would say yes to marry me. So we went to greet my grandmother, and my grandmother looked at her and she said, "Who is this?" And I said, you tell her your name. And she said, her name is Gloria. And my grandmother just looked at her in the eye and she said, will you marry us? Don't allow politicians to come and talk to you. When they come, you tell them what you want. You dictate the pace. And if they are not willing, let them go. Politics is wonderful if we all will agree. And that's the point of it, that we sit down to discuss across. And that's how harmony and peace is done. But when there is this versus us, you will never get a good leader. Same-sex marriage is a sin, like cheating, like lying, like beating of wife, like fornication, like adultery, like marriage by correspondence. All of those things that we do that does not honor God, they fall in the same category.
You are welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned. For more on our top stories, please visit our website at ACNNTV.com or youtube.com/ACNNTV. To be up to date with our news and other programs, please download the ACNN app for Android from Google Play Store. And now to some foreign news. No fewer than 4,000 refugees from southern Cameroon have invaded border communities in Kurmi and Usa local government areas of Taraba State. The refugees, mostly women and children, fled their home country following escalation of hostilities between Francophone and Anglophone communities over agitation for the independence of southern Cameroon. During a visit to the two local councils, it was discovered that the host communities are groaning under the burden of increasing number of refugees, which could lead to humanitarian crisis in the area. Speaking to reporters, one of the refugees, Polycarp Ande, who fled from Furara subdivision into Fikiu village, alleged that Cameroonian soldiers led the ethnic cleansing. According to him, hunger, lack of health care, lack of shelter, and idleness were major challenges, which he noted in turn had ripple effects on their communities. Dominated by subsistence farmers, he explained that villagers and churches had been feeding them and expressed worry over their increasing numbers and meager resources. Meanwhile, the chairman of USA local government area, Remansikwe Azan, on his part lamented that the massive influx of Cameroonians into some communities in the council is overwhelming, and further appealed for the federal government for adequate security and provision of relief materials for the refugees. A US-based election observer mission has criticized the excessive use of force by security forces during and after the Zimbabwean presidential election, saying the country has not yet demonstrated that it has established a tolerant democratic culture. This criticism was issued by a joint mission of the International Republican Institute and the National Democratic Institute, and it came a day after Zimbabwe's Constitutional Court upheld President Emmerson Mnangagwa's narrow election victory. This was the first time in nearly 2 decades that Western observers were invited as Mnangagwa seeks a credible election for the lifting of international sanctions. And so that's it on this edition of the News on the Hour. We want to thank you, and thank you profusely for watching. I am Fulusho Taiwo. Please mend it. Don't end it in a hurry. God bless you.